Michael, did you ever have any heroes in athletics?
Not really. I think I came into athletics. You know, my dad was my hero growing up, and always has been, still is. In terms of when I first started in the sport, there wasn't really anyone that I tried to emulate. And that's why I think I didn't feel like I was compelled to just be a 200-meter runner, and that's why I felt like I could do some things in the sport that hadn't been done before because I wasn't trying to emulate anyone else.
Who discovered you? How did you know that you were good at running?
I don't think, I wasn't necessarily discovered. I just, you decide most athletes aren't discovered necessarily. I think singers and people like that are discovered. Athletes, when a kid was running fast and faster than everybody else, then he knows he's fast, he's going to stay in the sport, and people are going to want him to be in the sport, and they're going to want to coach him and that sort of thing. And that's what happened with me. I played all different kinds of sports, and I was always fast. I stood out, and so and I loved it. I enjoyed it, and always loved track. I played lots of different sports, but athletics was always my first love.
You've had some wonderful achievements. Which stands out most in your mind? Just one singular achievement.
It's hard, to really pick one from when you're looking at it, when I'm looking at it from the perspective of, all of the work that went into all of the different championships. The championships were always big for me. That was when I had my best performances. All of my records came at championships. So the championships were always big for me. And when I look at all of the work that went into each one of them, they're all special. And it's really hard to choose one, from all of them. But obviously, what most people remember is '96 and making history at the Olympics, and obviously that was extremely special. But, it would be hard for me to say that, 1997 World Championships in Athens weren't special because I was injured, and I had my slowest winning 400-meter time of all of my 400-meter World Championships. That was the slowest one, but that was the one where I probably shouldn't have even been there, and it took everything I had to try to win that race. I was in sixth place with 100 meters to go.
When I read through your sort of career, one of the things that I've never realised is that you were injured quite a lot. You were injured quite a lot, and you still, all your records, and the titles you won. I'm just thinking how many, you would have won if you hadn't have been injured as much as you had.
Well, as you say that, though, here's the thing. I was injured, a lot in college and missed out on a lot of titles when I was at the university level. I was extremely fortunate during my professional career that even though I had injuries, I was never injured so much that I had to actually miss a championship. So there are no championships that I can say, if I hadn't been injured, I would have won that one. I was able. So it's tough, over an 11-year career to get through. So I had a lot of luck on my side.
Look, I remember Atlanta. You've just mentioned it. It was an absolutely outstanding championship for you. The thing was that they changed the actual program to suit you. How did that come about?
Knowing that I could run the 200 and 400, it was always tough for me at championships to choose one. In '91, I had to choose 200 or 400. I chose 200. In '93, I had to choose again. And I didn't want to have to keep choosing because it was always difficult, after I finished my race, sitting on the sideline watching someone else win the other race that I know I could win. And so I, at that point, decided I wanted to do them both, and started to appeal to the IOC and the IAAF to allow it to happen. And then I went to the 1995 World Championships, and I had to prove to them that I could do it when I won them both there.
You had a close relationship with Clyde a long time, but how important is that close relationship to you?
It's always been, we've always had a very special relationship, when I was in college, when he first recruited me, and even now, where, our coach-athlete relationship was only one component of the relationship. So now, I'm not competing anymore. He's not coaching me anymore, and we're still extremely close, and we talk all of the time about all kinds of different things. And so I think from that perspective, that was an important component of the relationship, the trust between the two of us. But then as a coach-athlete relationship, there was also that trust, which is extremely important for an athlete to feel like he can trust that coach's judgment, and for that coach to feel like he can trust the athlete's feedback.
You've moved out of the sport into media. How are you finding that?
I've been doing this now for 10 years, and It's a lot of fun. It keeps me involved with the sport, keeps me close to the sport. I'm such a fan, and I always have been. Even when I was competing, I was a big track fan. I've always just been an athletics nut, and so so it's a lot of fun for me to be able to sit there and talk about athletics.
Well, Carl Lewis has gone into politics. Any chance of Michael Johnson running for senator?
No, not going to happen. I know where I belong, and that's not where I belong.
One last question, Michael. Do you ever wish you were back on the track?
No, and the reason, and that surprises people a lot of times, but the reason I don't wish I was back out there is because I was extremely fortunate that every goal that I set for myself, I was able to accomplish out there. And usually, what I find with athletes is, and it's unfortunate, but when they've had to finish their career because of an injury, or they were forced out because they got too old and they had injuries in the interim and that sort of thing, and they weren't able to accomplish everything that they wanted, then they miss it terribly. And I was extremely fortunate that I was able to do everything I wanted, and the sport was really good for me and good to me, and so I'm pleased with how I was able to end it and how I'm involved with it now.
We've enjoyed your career, obviously, Michael. Thanks a lot. It's been
Thank
fantastic.
you. All right, appreciate it.